Good day, dear students. Let's begin our next lecture. Today, we are going to talk about translation of science. Especially, translation of science is closely related to visual translation because we see the science indoors and outdoors. Sometimes we may come across with this translation suddenly, unexpectedly. Here you see the text and you have to translate it without reading aloud. You read and at the same time translate into the target language. First of all, you read the text out loud, scan and scan, and automatically begin to translate it into the target language. It is called visual translation. Of course, we see the signs. We notice the signs. We try to translate them, and it is closely connected with sign translation. The first thing you can meet, especially women, can meet this kind of signs with the laundries or the clothes. Each clothes have got their instruction of washing. You can see on the screens them. And you should know how to translate or to how to render these signs as well. So you can see the 5 signs and 5 explanations. They may ask you to translate into Uzbek or Russian or vice versa. And this time you have just to notice the sign before just giving the translation. Some signs are given without any letter, as you see on the screen. No transcription, no words, no expressions. Sometimes they may ask you to render the meaning. If there is some kind of explanation, you are lucky. If there is not, what to do? Here, you have to get acquainted with a lot of international signs and local signs in order to give the meaning in the target language. Maybe you may guess general meaning looking at the sign, looking at different signs like crossing or just prohibition sign. In many cases, they demand from you, translation, just the theory demands from you to get to know with each laundry signs separately without hurrying and taking notes. It's not to forget them. The sign you see on the screen is closely connected with the heating. The first one is any heating is allowed. Number 2 is high heat. Third is medium heat. And the last one is no heat. And so on. Next sign, you can see what does it mean. So here you have to search internet, search some kind of instruction of the tools. They are given definition, learn them by heart. You are right, that was bleaching. And the levels of just bleaching of each item, each clothes. If you learn them by heart, it will be easy for you to render. Next sign, especially is concerned with the ironing. Producers give you hints. They give you help how to use their equipment. In this case, you have to learn them by heart. Maybe you guess. Sometimes you may search it in internet or internet sources to identify the meaning. As the number 1 is iron low, that means the temperature, heating is low. Some road signs you may meet in the street, abroad, everywhere. Some unusual road signs you can meet, for example, terrorist crossing. It's unusual. You may not meet this kind of sign road or road sign in Uzbekistan and Russia. Next one is kiss and ride. Very strange, but the meaning is don't stop, only just say goodbye to your parents and drive a car That means stopping for a too short period of time. Next one. Kiss and ride. The same. You may stop here only for some time. You may not stay here for a long time. You should say goodbye and then drive away. This is called kiss and ride sign. And sometimes you have to get to know about them. INTERDIT SAUF. So what does it mean? Sometimes you may be out of petrol. You may be out of petrol. Yes? In this very case, you have to just that means this sign only exception for the petrols or for the cars that are out of petrol, but for nobody else. Next one, caution, grandparents at play. That means just there is some kind of plant or some kind of factory near this sign. Stop, kiss and leave zone. The same thing. You kiss and leave your relatives, but you will not stay for a long time. Watch for, that means be careful. People sometimes just play their telephone or just give attention to their telephone, and sometimes we don't notice some kind of things, like a caution is. We can meet some kind of sign, boxes, especially when it is concerning equipment, new items that you will buy from the shop. And of course we can see some kind of caution signs. Let's talk about them. If it's some kind of glass or just some kind of dangerous thing, you can see several emblems or just signs on the box to warn you about the safety of it. When we speak about outdoor signs, you may meet a lot of outdoor signs concerning to people's direction or concerning to people's just attitude towards the traffic or toward the nature and so on. So you can see the footpath sign. That means that directs the person to which direction to step. Of course, they help us to do some kind of actions, to analyze, to decide. Warning, wheelchairs only. You see, no bicycles are allowed, no skateboards, scooters, and other wheeled toys on ramp. Only wheelchairs are allowed. Here you have to translate into a target language concerning to the meaning. Signs on toys you can meet. You can meet them. But here you have to guess the meaning and translate, as well as to give real equivalent in the target language. So, safety symbols. Well, of course, it is sometimes difficult for you to translate. If you cannot identify the meaning, search from different sources. If you cannot find, ask the specialist in this field. Warnings can be met in different kind of just toys packages. Any kind of bags, any kind of package of hazardous equipment may have this kind of warning. This is a warning that you may meet in the children's pram, and you can see this kind of sign, and you have to translate into several languages, into Russian, into Uzbek. When we see door signs, we can see the followings. Some people warn us against some dogs or dangerous animals before entering. You can read, and then you can behave yourself calmly or peacefully. No soliciting, that means no exceptions. Nobody is allowed. No charity, estimates, positions, it doesn't matter what kind of religion, salesperson, no exceptions. That means prohibited. Nobody is just let. Horoscope signs you may meet in translation just process have to be which way to choose. Let's talk about signs. So you see, in English and Russian, just equivalence of the phrases. But here you can also look or search Uzbek translation and then take notes on your notebooks with the Uzbek translation. The next sign you may meet in your life may be sport signs. Interesting, yes? Where can we meet sport signs? Of course, sport signs can be met some kind of sport fields or just newspapers, sport journals, and so on. So you see on the screen the words and explanations of each sign. So here you may meet them without writing, without any letters. So here you have to identify the emblem, the sign. And of course you can meet the signs at airports, which there are no any kind of letters. And here you have to guess according to the meaning of the picture, the sign. You may guess what are they doing. That means departure. If the plane just is presented as if it's flying, that's departure. If it is coming down on the sign, it's going to be arrival. Yes? Now let's look at the next sign. Airport sign, car parking, airline, departure, and transfer, and baggage claim, and so on. So when it is written, it's okay for translation. If it's not written, you have to guess. You have to tell the meaning to the auditory or into the target language. Even you should know what does some kind of little symbols mean. A gate, B gate, C gate, baggage claim, and even they show directions. Room services, nursing room, and if it's shortening ATM, you have to identify. You have to decode what does it mean in the original language. That was all for today. If you have any questions, you are welcome. So while translating the signs, you should give attention to the type of it, to the meaning of the sign. Thank you very much.